Okay, friends, we have among us for this edition of Daily Dialogue the rising star of Congress Party, and he's a rising star at a time when most of the rising stars of his age in his party have turned into shooting stars, and the opposition BJP is working overtime to prove and tell the country that the sun has set on the grand old party that is Congress, to which he belongs. Sachinji, unlike his other leaders of his age and his party, who all became ministers in the Manmohan Singh government in 2009, he doesn't come from money or royal family background. His father was a first generation politician who made a mark for himself with his hard work and honesty. And Sachinji has clearly inherited the exceptional quality of his father of connecting with the masses. He became an MP and he was probably the youngest at that time in 2004 when he got elected from Dausa, and he was 26 years of age. And then he was given charge of the state Congress when the Congress party was routed in Rajasthan and could win only 21 seats out of 200. And he was given the charge of the state and he became the state president, and he toiled for 5 years, campaigned hard through the length and breadth of a vast state of Rajasthan, and the party came back to power in 2018. But everybody was expecting him to take the charge of the government, but someone else was made the chief minister. Before the last assembly election, there were reports that they were moved to again bring him as chief minister, so to lead the party's campaign. But a whole lot of drama happened in Jaipur. The Congress party observers who were sent, Kharge Saab and Makan Saab, they were avoided by the then party leadership in the government, and everybody knows what all happened after that. So everybody left, but he continues to remain in Congress. So while preparing for this welcome speech, I called one of his very close associates and a die-hard supporter in Udaipur and asked him कि भाई एक बात बताओ कि पायलट साहब की एक क्या खास बात है सबसे. So he said in Hindi, and I'll repeat in Hindi. He said, जैसे सोनिया जी त्याग की प्रतिमूर्ति हैं कांग्रेस में, वैसे ही पायलट साहब धैर्य की प्रतिमूर्ति हैं. कि enormous amount of patience is that, which I thought was like so true, because all his friends have crossed over to other parties and he continues to remain. And so I know that I feel that he has a great future in politics, and regardless of whether he remains in Congress or any other party, solely because of the fact that he is a mass leader and he has a massive connect with people, especially the youth and also women, because of his film star-like looks. And he's a fitness enthusiast, and he may not know, but his son and my daughter went to the same play school. And I saw him participating in the sports event in a sprint. He ran for a thing. Do you remember that? Learning tree में.
Yes.
जी. तो इनके लिए बहुत अच्छा फ्यूचर अभी आगे है. And I will keep it short, and I wish him best and welcome him to. This is all our editorial staff. Mani Saab is a special guest, and we will all ask you questions. I will open the floor, and I'll request you before that to make some brief opening remarks if you want, and then we'll open it for questions. Thank you.
My only remarks are, first of all, thank you very much for inviting me here, and I apologize, I'm a little late in getting here. So today was the day when the Congress party has released its manifesto officially, and that engagement went on for longer than I had anticipated. But thank you for having me here, and from the signs of the beginning, it seems like a benign conversation, and
it is.
And very politely, your words are very kind, I must say, I think, but though exaggerated, because I don't think I'm deserving of all the nice things you've said, but suffice to say that these are interesting times, and maybe 10, 15, 20 years ago, one would not have thought that our polity would be where it is today. So much has happened so quickly, so we have to embrace ourselves to see what the next few months and years have ahead of us. And because we are in the middle of elections, it's even more interesting to be having a conversation with all of you. I don't want to make a long speech. I'm sure you'll ask me some very interesting questions. I'll try and be as honest as I can, and I'll try and be as direct as I can. But once again, thank you very much for having me here this afternoon.
Thank you, sir. Prabhu sir, I request you to ask the first question and open the session.
I have a problem, some kind of a dilemma, because his father was a great friend of mine. And I have the fly on the wall, because there were so many conspiracies at that time. When Mr. Narasimha was the Prime Minister, Mr. Pilot was also part of certain things which are happening, and I was listening to him. They did not report. I was dishonest to my own profession. But that was the commitment I had taken to his father. Sometimes journalists have to compromise, that compromise made. Sachin, I know him when he was playing the lawns outside his house in Safdurjung Road. He has grown very well. But Sachin, I'll go straight to the point, Seedhi Baat. You are coming from the AICC office. One of the key words in the AICC discussions and all your workers, I'm starting on a very light note. गिनती 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 करेंगे आप गिनती राहुल जी भी गिनती बार बार बोलते हैं कि कितनी गिनती है तो शेयर करेंगे तो हम जस्ट आस्किंग गिनती आप किसकी करेंगे कितने लोग छोड़ गए और कितने और छोड़ेंगे या किसी और चीज़ की गिनती करेंगे
ये एक गलतफहमी हम सब लोगों को हो जाती है कि जब नेता हैं इसमें चुनाव के समय ये आदान प्रदान इंपोर्ट एक्सपोर्ट आना जाना लगा रहता है लेकिन कभी कोई एक व्यक्ति जिसका स्वयं का मूल्यांकन बहुत ज़्यादा है जब वो जाता या आता है तो ऐसा नहीं है उसके सारे प्रशंसक समर्थक मतदाता सारे के सारे चले जाते हैं आ जाते हैं तो ये कभी कभी हम लोगों के परसेप्शन में बात होती है कि अगर कोई व्यक्ति जा रहा है या एक स्टेट का व्यक्ति या एक कम्युनिटी का व्यक्ति तो पूरा लॉक स्टॉक एंड बैरल हो जा रहा है और इलेक्शन के समय बहुत से लोग आए हैं जाए हुए हैं वो चलता रहेगा ultimately, I think now people have become immune to this coming and going. It has become so rampant and so excessive. I think it has lost its novelty. One. Second, this election I think is far more than just ginti ki kaun aa gaya, kaun chala gaya. This election has now become much more important and much more decisive and much more pivotal for many reasons, and you all know the reasons. So what is more crucial is now the opposition unity as we had foreseen it. Are we able to deliver to exactly what we committed to ourselves as opposition parties? And Congress being the main national opposition party to BJP, how much can we deliver? What is more crucial is for the bipolar contest that happened across Western and Northern India, which is between BJP and Congress. Last two times, our performance has not been good at all. So this time, the change in mood and our delivery and our sort of success rate in the Hindi-speaking North and Western part of India, if we can deliver that, गिनती उस बात की होगी कि Congress versus BJP. That's where the key is. If we're able to deliver to our expectations, then the whole game will change. So गिनती तो संख्या बल होता है परिणाम का. अभी तो परिणाम आए नहीं है चुनाव हुआ नहीं है तो गिनती होगी कि कांग्रेस और इंडिया अलायंस के कितने सांसद होते हैं कि
आपके पास कैंडिडेट भी नहीं मिल रहे पूरी तरीके से मैंने गो बैक सीधी बात है फिर से
एक सेकंड आपने कहा कैंडिडेट नहीं मिल रहे हैं आप मुझे बता दीजिए उत्तर पूर्व में भाजपा पर कितने कैंडिडेट हैं पार्लियामेंट्री असेंबली के तमिलनाडु में कितने कैंडिडेट्स हैं केरला में कहाँ से ढूंढ के लाए हैं वो तो तुलना बराबर की होनी चाहिए वो नेशनल पार्टी है लेकिन हम भी नेशनल पार्टी हैं और हम उनसे ज़्यादा नेशनल हैं नेशनलिस्ट भी हैं और नेशनल प्रेजेंस भी है कैंडिडेट भी हैं जिता उम्मीदवार भी हैं और अपने हैं अब आप देखिए हरियाणा में 10 लोग बीजेपी के उम्मीदवार हैं उसमें से 6 जो हैं वो भूतपूर्व कांग्रेसी हैं
पर आपका तो एक भी नहीं है ग्रिड के अंदर
के अंदर हमारे अच्छा और सुनो हमारे जा रहे हैं
नॉट गिवन सिंगल कैंडिडेट हरियाणा में हमारे पे डिक्लेयर्ड ऑल 10
बाय द वे हरियाणा नो मैटर व्हाट एनीवन मे से प्रभु जी और आप हरियाणा अच्छी तरह जानते हैं वहाँ के परिणाम बड़े चौंकाने वाले आने वाले हैं लोकसभा के भी और विधानसभा के भी दूसरी बात जो कांग्रेस के छोड़ के राज्यों को भाजपा ले रही है कोई पूर्व मंत्री है कोई पूर्व प्रधान है पूर्व सांसद पूर्व विधायक है और बीजेपी के जो वर्तमान सांसद छोड़ के कांग्रेस में आए हैं, एक हरियाणा में आए हैं, एक राजस्थान में आए हैं, सिटिंग लोकसभा एमपीज. Second, if BJP was so confident about getting 300 par, 400 par, and so supremely happy with their own candidates and their own incumbents, what is the need for the BJP to go and start importing people from other parties, including the Congress party? If you're so absolutely determined and confident that you will cross 300, 400, then why do you need other people from other parties to come and be your candidates? So that's another thing voters are asking themselves.
आपने कहा ना, you will give the frank answer, you will be honest.
That works both ways. आपको भी frank होना.
So I'm asking you another question. Looking at you and watching you for the past couple of years, are you really happy the way Congress is working?
देखिए, I am absolutely content with our effort that we put in. But your question is, am I happy with the results? No. We have not won the last 3 state elections, Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh. We are hoping to win. So how can I be happy when the Congress party has lost 2 elections, national elections? How can I be happy when we have not won as many state elections?
Your party is not battle ready.
That is not true. Ultimately, we fight the battle in elections to win, Prabhuji. अब जनता ही decide करती है ना. So I can't keep a grudge against the people of India because they didn't vote for us. I have to do better. I have to perform better, strive better, and then achieve success. So am I happy about the results in the last 5 years of our state elections? No, of course not. Can we do better? Yes. And will we do better? 100%.
You'll do better. 100% means what? From 50 to 104.
अब ये देखो, आप जो आंकड़े आपने बोल दिया,
नहीं, मैं
प्राइम मिनिस्टर बोलते हैं 300 पार, 400 पार, 500 पार, 600 पार. I won't take that liberty. I just feel that India and our alliance partners will get the required mandate to be able to form the government on June 2024.
Why you are so confident? आपके पास ना जात की combination है ना आपके पास नेता है. You are deprived of both slogan and neta. You don't have at the moment, which has a pan-Indian appeal.
I'll tell you what else we don't have. We don't have money. हमारे खाते बंद कर दिए. We don't have the support of the institutions for a level playing field. We don't have the narrative in the mainstream media. We don't have the sort of brute power of the state that the incumbents are using. Despite all that, what we have is faith and belief and confidence in the wise voters of this country. We have that. And let me add one more thing, Prabhuji ke liye. Aapne kaha, what makes you think we can win? If we take the real issues to the people, and a genuine, transparent, level playing field election is conducted, which is what the job of the Election Commission is. You can't have a situation in our country where 147 MPs are suspended on one day and bills are passed behind their backs. You can't have the kind of open mockery and open rigging of a mayor election in Chandigarh like we saw captured in the cameras. It took the Supreme Court to intervene. We can't have Supreme Court making electoral bonds illegal, and yet the government taking no action on parties that made thousands of crores through that process. All those issues are beginning to resonate. You can't have the capture or detainment of elected chief ministers at night. All these issues are resonating, and also what is important is the last 10-year report card. Election should be fought on issues that matter to the people, whether it's economy, jobs, aggravated crisis, women, underprivileged people. उनके बारे में चर्चा होगी. जनता समझदार है. They will choose wisely. I am not so pompous to say that we will get this majority. I am saying that we know that things have turned. Things are not what they were in 2019. And if you recall, 2019 election took place under certain special circumstances. I come from a border state in Rajasthan. So I know exactly what the atmosphere was because of certain incidences that took place 2019 elections se pehle. Things have changed now. And I'm seeing, मैं कल ही आया रात को. I've traveled the breadth of Rajasthan and Chhattisgarh. There's a huge change in perception.
Sachin, you're so confident, but I'm asking you that to see the evolution of the Congress. I've covered about 11 prime ministers. I've been covering for the past 40 years. When Jawaharlal Nehru took over, there was some kind of leadership. Everybody was a big leader from all over the country. When Mrs. Gandhi came and the purge started in the Congress party, she got rid of all the old people, you call them syndicate and whatever. Split happened in the party. Half the party went on, 1/3 of the party went, you can have the number. Rajiv Gandhi came after that, Mrs. Gandhi, after that many split happened. Rajiv Gandhi came, again the split happened, he threw out, piecing, he went away, whatever the reason was. And since Mrs. Sonia Gandhi, everything happened. Earlier, old people were being thrown out. During the current Gandhi regime, the young people are leaving the party. Older, of course, they were independent, they were redundant. How can the young people under young leader who's supposed to be the rising star in the future, icon, you call it. Why not during the Nirsamara split happened? Sonia Gandhi, Congress versus other Congress happened. This evolution of Congress, you have people sent out. Most of the regional parties are Congress-oriented parties. They were voted from the Congress. So why young people, young leaders of your age group, most of them were left there, you gave them everything else. So this Gandhi-led Congress is not able to get the young people, instead younger future of the Congress which are supposed to be built in by the Murli Devra, whether it's Jitin Prashad, whether somebody else. Why are the leaving young
Can
parties?
you see how he was itching to ask that question from start? 10 मिनट लग गए आते मौके पर. दूसरी बात, I'm glad you clarified. You were saying young leader, then he said, नहीं, your generation. So now I'm clearly not in the young category. I'm in the semi-old, semi-young category.
Anybody who's around the age group or younger is
So,
young.
Prabhuji, I hold no beef for anybody. You must ask people who have joined or who have left what the reasons were. I feel some people may have left for compulsions, किसी को pressure होगा, किसी को हो सकता है लालच हो, I don't know. But everyone is free to make their choice. Their ideological path is theirs to follow. Their choice of political parties is theirs, individual choice. If they find happiness, contentment, and they're happy with themselves, good for them. But the final judge of whether the decision was right or wrong is the people of India. And time will tell and voters will tell कि जो निर्णय लिया सही था गलत था, and each to his own. And आपने इतने नाम गिना दिए मेरे को जिन लोगों ने कांग्रेस छोड़ी है. आप भूल गए कि वही बीजेपी है जिसने एल के अडवाणी जी को पार्टी से निकाल दिया था, उमा भारती पार्टी छोड़ चली गई थी, जसवंत सिंह जी को पार्टी से निकाल दिया था, कल्याण सिंह को पार्टी से निकाल दिया था. तो ये पार्टी में आना जाना मैंने शुरू में कहा ना, ये चलता रहता है.
300 सीटें आई, आपकी तो 52 रह गई.
अब आप चार जून आने दो ना. और why you gleefully happy कि हमारी 52 रह गई हैं. You should actually think, and I think also, that in a democracy the party in power is important, but the party in opposition is almost as important, because in a functional republic democracy, it's important to have a strong, resilient opposition. And you ask anybody across the country, ask them, do they want a strong opposition? The answer will be a firm yes. So weak opposition is not good for any country, and not just India, anywhere in the world. So I don't care whether you win or lose elections, but the institutions that we have for 75 years nurtured through successive governments, Prabhuji, not just Congress government, 75 years, 75 साल में अलग-अलग institutions को, and I'm drawing a comparison between our country, our republic, and nations around our neighborhood. Why is it our democracy strong here? Not because people have a right to vote. Vote तो हर रूल्स में पढ़ते हैं vote को. Voting is not election. Election is a counterbalance, a transparent functioning of institutions that are independent of the government. That's what makes democracy relevant. And Indian democratic roots are strong because of that. For 75 years, every different government in its own way nurtured, respected, and enhanced the credibility of institutions. Today, there is a systematic effort to undermine the authority, credibility, transparency of these institutions. So, election में आपने वोट डाल दिया, कोई जीत गया. That for me is not a democratic ecosystem. It has to be functioning of judiciary, media, institutions, questions, transparency, a counterbalance, a strong opposition. You deprive all these things and still conduct machines, EVMS से वोट डलवा लीजिए. What kind of a future democracy we're looking at? Please, I'm not being alarmist. I'm just telling you how I see things. So therefore, this election is not more than about 400 par, 300 par. It's about restoring the faith of the people in the very institutions that we have really toiled hard to establish, and we are very proud of what we have. So let's preserve what we have. That's all I'm saying.
So the Congress party lost the last two Lok Sabha election very badly. So what is different this time? What is the compelling narrative? What are the issues which you think will bring a different result this time?
So one is that I talked about how institutions are really losing their independence, credibility. I mean, look at the way you choose election commissioner. First it was Chief Justice of India, Prime Minister, Leader of Opposition. Now it's been changed to Prime Minister, Minister, and Chief Justice.
But Congress party always appointed election commissions without even 3 members there.
But I'm saying today there are doubts. 30 years ago, please don't mind, but when TN Session became election commissioner, he did what he had to do. No one ever thought that he could be, bullied into taking a certain decision. But today there is a certain perception being created, right or wrong. I'm not saying it's right. I'm saying a perception is being created that there is an attempt to sort of invisibly control a lot much more than your then you're allowed to. Winning election does not mean that you have a blank check to do whatever you want. There has to be some check and balance, and that's all I'm aspiring for. All I'm saying is, whoever may win, whoever may lose. But the country, our democracy, our voters need a fully functional, balanced system of parliamentary elections. That's what I'm saying. Aapne kaha, what makes me think that we can do better? I'm not saying itna number aayega, utna aayega. All I'm saying is that in the bipolar contest states where BJP Congress fight, it has been predominantly BJP that wins last 2 elections. This time, there's a change I'm sensing in some parts of our country, along with the allies that we are conducting in India Alliance. There is a strong chance after 10 years that people want to change because we have been able to put a alternative blueprint of governance. हम लोग क्या करना चाह रहे हैं? अभी क्या हो रहा है? In these last few years, it's about propaganda, it's about media, it's about hype, it's about television, it's about ads. And on delivery, if you ask, if you say economy is growing at so percent, we made so many roads. In India, it's such a large economy, there is some inertia. So roads will be made, bridges will be built, but are people who are not in the mainstream, are they getting benefited? One of my biggest worries, by the way, is that the Gini coefficient, so between the rich and the poor, the gap is increased so much.
Yeah, that's
It worries because they're not visible, right? So their voice is not heard on social media or on electronic media. So the have-nots have become so underprivileged that the gap is widened to a fearsome level. Same is happening in villages and cities. And the ultra-rich are the people who have cornered a lot of the wealth in this country. It's disproportionately higher for any other country of our size. That worries me. That happens because the economic policy making is geared towards benefiting a set of section of our people. That again is worrying. So I think हर आदमी चुनाव क्यों लड़ता है भाई? जीतने के लिए लड़ता है. And we're fighting with full vigor and force to win. बाकी I'm not saying result क्या आंकड़ा आएगा, but I have faith. I think we'll do well. We'll be able to form the government, and we're fighting to win. And let's see what happens.
So you spoke about the bipolar contest between Congress and BJP in the heartland states. But even in Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan, thousands of workers have joined BJP recently. So, there is an organizational decline or decay in this Congress. So how will you, like you said you're looking at this, heartland states. So how will you achieve this?
You're right.
make up for the loss.
You're talking about the desertions some people were left the party.
Some 50,000 are in Madhya Pradesh.
I don't know about how many, that's exaggerated. No. So, see, that again is a number, even it's a large country, you can say whatever you want. But it is true. But some people having left the Congress party, I don't think will affect the psyche of the voter. Right? They're voting for the symbol, for what we stand for and what we are offering. I don't think it's about 1 or 2 or 5 people's faces that people are voting for. As an entity, as an India bloc, as a Congress party, we are what we are. Few may have left, few may have joined. I'll be wrong to say it has no effect, but is it such tangible effect that we will end up losing winning elections? It is not that remarkable. Again, like I said, time will tell. But I don't think this sort of, few people coming and joining or leaving will have that much of effect. What actually will impact the elections is if we are able to present and communicate what we feel and what we understand to the people. Rajasthan, of course, we have 25 seats. We got 0 seats last time. We got 0 before that. I mean, the positive way to look at it is we can only grow up, right? We can't go less than that. So, and I think there's a change happening. So I think we have a fierce contest in more than half the seats. It can go either way. Again, I'm not being, foolish by saying we win on 25, but I'm saying we can win majority of the seats because the contest is, you can tell, जब election फंसा होता है ना, you can tell, all of your political reporters, you understand. So I've seen this in Madhya Pradesh, I'm seeing it in Chhattisgarh, Haryana 100%, Rajasthan 100%. So these are the states. And हवा फिर रुकती नहीं है. Once you have a certain, एक हवा election की बनती है, that goes on to other states. But large states are important, of course. UP, Bihar, Bengal are very important. Maharashtra is important. So our alliances in Bihar and Maharashtra are formidable. And I think that's what the worry is because the India Alliance partners' vote share last time was about 65%. If you just add the numbers. I'm not saying it's chemistry, it's physics also. I mean, you add numbers, it doesn't mean all humko mil jayega, but NDA got 35-36% vote. We got 65% vote. Pure number tells you that BJP revived NDA only after India Alliance came into being. Before that, Punjab NDA, Akali Dal had left, Nitish Kumar had left, Shiv Sena had left. So they were very happy कि हम 300 अकेले बहुत हैं. Then they realized that the number don't add up. So then they revived NDA and got all sorts of people to form an NDA, photo shop, खिंचवा के 30-40 party आ गई. But honestly speaking, the alliance numbers are not in the NDA's favor. But the media propaganda, the narrative, the bravado, the chest thumping, yes, there of course, they score a point.
Good evening, sir. I have a question about EVMs. So all Congress leaders, including Rahul Gandhi, has questioned the use of EVMs in the past. Do you feel EVMs can be manipulated? And were they manipulated, let's say, in Karnataka and in Telangana? I will follow that later on.
After my
आप
answer.
भी जीत जाते हैं हर स्टेट कई स्टेट
No. So my point is only limited. I don't. It's a very controversial thing because it's gone to the courts. There are certain views on it. Leaders have spoken about it. I only feel that it is the job of the Election Commission to clear each and every doubt of anybody, whether it's a voter, NGO, political party, or whoever. If someone has a doubt on VVPAT, the percentage, the slips, any technical doubt must be cleared for getting people's full credibility behind the process. Even if one voter is feeling that there is something that can go wrong, the EC should come and clarify and make everything above board. That job is the Election Commission's job. So I think it's best to say that all doubts, apprehensions, concerns of anybody, whoever that person may be, must be fully clarified and to their satisfaction. It can't be maine to kar diya, now you can go. So they have to satisfy and convince anyone who has doubts. And people have doubts, so they must do that and come out in the open and do it in a transparent fashion.
Sachin ji, you spoke about Congress being in fierce contest with the BJP on almost half the seats of Rajasthan.
I said more than half, but
More than half. So why are you not contesting? Because this is a subject of discussion in the political circles, and the opposition is saying, the BJP says कि ये तो इन लोग को एकदम बिल्कुल हारना पक्का है, इसलिए सब मैदान छोड़ के भाग गए.
two things to it. One, the Central Election Committee, of which I'm not a member, they decide on who they have few panels, naam jaate hain, 2 naam, 3 naam. So here they sit and decide who is the best person to fight that election. Of course, I've always propagated younger people to get the mandate to fight elections. But whether I was to contest or not contest, it is left for the party to decide. I am in charge of Chhattisgarh as General Secretary. So my primary responsibility is to deliver that state, of course my home state. And it's not to say that people are not contesting. Digvijay Singh ji is contesting. Bhupesh Baghel ji is contesting. Ashok Gehloti's son is contesting. He was not healthy enough to contest, he said. But everyone has defined role. And I have always said that my politics for last more than a decade has been in Rajasthan, and I want to contribute there. But the final decision, if the party decides, whoever, like Rahul ji ne bhi bola tha ki I'll fight wherever the party wants, and the party said कि आप finance से जीत के आइए. So that decision is parties. संगठन में काम करना है, MLA बनना है, MP बनना है. It can't be a choice that I will do this. I was working in Government of India. I was an MP here for 10 years. I was head to Jaipur. I worked there for, and you mentioned in your opening remarks, I did put in as much hard work as I could possibly put in. So that, now they've asked me to become General Secretary. So I'm doing that. But it is not to say that वहाँ 25 सीटें हैं. It is on me how many seats I can deliver, right? At least in some parts of the area that I have represented before. So it's not कि मैं नहीं लड़ रहा हूँ तो मैं जिता के लेके नहीं आऊँगा. So
लोग कह रहे हैं आप दौसा या अजमेर से लड़ते तो एक सीट तो पक्की
नहीं, दौसा is reserve constituency one, and हमको जिताना है ना, तो वो कहते हैं ना वो आम खाओ और पेड़ मत गिनो. Result.
Sachin, you have said one important sentence just now. हमें कितनी सीट जितानी है, मेरे को इंचार्ज हैं आप.
In Chhattisgarh, yes.
In Chhattisgarh, you are in charge. Chhattisgarh, the question is, Congress party has lost all the veterans. Earlier chief minister आप कहते हैं हिस्ट्री पढ़ना शुरू करें. अब कांग्रेस पार्टी में कौन सा नेता, क्योंकि election, whether you accept it or not, all of us are convinced the election is versus Modi versus whom? There is no BJP party. They are asking vote in the name of Modi, and that is what people, you ask anybody, हम वोट देंगे मोदी को देंगे, पार्टी के खिलाफ बोलेंगे पर मोदी को वोट जरूर देंगे. Your leader, Congress party was full of big leaders at once upon a time. Tell me the person who can deliver seats in any state. One, आपके यहाँ तिवारी जी थे, आपके यहाँ बाबूना जी थे, आपके यहाँ ब्रह्मानंद रेड्डी थे, आपके यहाँ नरसिम्हा राव थे, आपके यहाँ कैप्टन साहब थे पंजाब के अंदर. Every state I count, बंसी लाल थे, भजन लाल थे. Where are those leaders now? After Mohanlal Sukhadia in your own state, you hardly had a great leader who could compete with after you have done something which you almost power there. Where are the leaders who can win? आप कह रहे हैं हम जिताएंगे, जिताने वाले कौन? उनके बाद डबल इंजन सरकार की बात करते हैं. आपके पास सिंगल इंजन भी नहीं है. Where is your single engine and double engine?
He is the leader now.
No, I'm talking at the center.
प्रभु जी is behind times. आप अभी इंजन में अटके हुए हो. अभी इलेक्ट्रिक व्हीकल आ गई हैं. अब बिना इंजन की गाड़ियाँ दौड़ती पहली बात. सेकंड बात बताऊँ आपको, जिताने वाले कौन? मैं जब आपको बोल रहा हूँ हम जिता के लाएंगे, हमने पहले नहीं जिताएंगे. आई डोंट वांट टू कंपेयर माई सेल्फ टू द पीपल इन द अर्ली जनरेशंस, बट टाइम्स मूव ऑन ना. अब जो तब थे सन 60 में, अब 2024 आ रहा है. अब कब तक उनको आप याद करेंगे नाम उनके? हो गया उनको टाइम था. अब हम लोग खड़े हैं, हम जिताएंगे. एंड यू नो, मैंने इसलिए बोला बिकॉज आई एम एन एमएलए फ्रॉम राजस्थान, दैट्स माई होम स्टेट. सो ऑब्वियसली व्हेन वी डिडंट डू लास्ट टाइम सरकार हमारी थी. आप देखिए हम तब भी एक सीट नहीं जीत पाए थे. सो चैलेंज इज मोर this time, but I know across my travels, I told you yesterday, Kharge ji and I were in Rajasthan. You can tell, and I can also tell by the opponents' reactions, their candidates, their feelings, what they're doing. So this time we'll 100% do better. And you know, there are some areas, obviously, like आपने दौसा का नाम लिया, अजमेर का नाम लिया, टोंक का, जयपुर. That's the area where you know I've been fighting elections, my family's been fighting elections. So those 4, 5, 7 seats come in the eastern part of Rajasthan. Of course, my endeavor, I know I'll be judged by how much I can deliver. And I keep saying this in my party also. भाई हम लोग टिकट दिलवाने की रिकमेंडेशन करते हैं एमएलए की, एमपी की. इट शुड नॉट वर्क शुड एंड कि टिकट दिलवा दिया, तो जितवाना भी चाहिए ना. और अगर नहीं जितवा रहे पूछें क्यों भाई आपने 4 नाम दिए थे, सिर्फ एक जीत के आया है मिस्टर पायलट, टेल मी व्हाट हैपेंड. दैट्स द काइंड ऑफ अकाउंटेबिलिटी एन ऑर्गेनाइजेशन शुड हैव. आई एम नॉट सेइंग वी डोंट हैव इट, बट वी शुड हैव मोर ऑफ इट. बिकॉज व्हेन आई एम एडवोकेटिंग अ पर्सन's नेम, व्हेन आई एम टेकिंग रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी, then I should be asked once elections are over कि आपने ये 50 नाम दिए थे, 2 ही जीत के हैं इसमें से. That's how you fix accountability, and that happens in every organization, and it should happen much more so in political parties.
What is your alternative to Modi as a personality?
क्या करें?
Modi, they are fighting the name of Modi. I asked the question, what is your alternative to Modi? कि मोदी को वोट क्यों नहीं दो?
मैं आपको शुरू में जो मैंने ओपनिंग अपनी की थी से तो कहा था मैंने, अब 300 पार किए थे तो 3 काले कानून बनाए किसानों के खिलाफ, जीएसटी लेकर आ गए, नोटबंदी लेकर आ गए, मुख्यमंत्री को जेल में डाल रहे हैं. ये 300 के बाद है. जब 400 हो गया फिर क्या होगा?
300 के बाद स्टेट में जीती ना, यूपी दोबारा से जीता.
अरे जीतने का मतलब प्रभु जी ये नहीं है. जीते तो राजीव गांधी 425 एमपी थे. डिड ही से कि मैं बीजेपी खत्म कर दूंगा या विपक्ष को खत्म कर देंगे या जेल में डाल देंगे लोगों को? विनिंग डज, भाई जितना बड़ा पेड़ होता है उतना वो झुक के रहता है. देखा बरगद का पेड़ आपने? जितना विराट व्यक्तित्व होता है उतना विनम्र होके, उतना ह्यूमिलिटी से काम करते हैं. That's the way things work.
The reality is since 1980.
Reality is you have no answer to my comment. That's the reality.
Reality is that since 1985 you have not crossed almost 200 seats. From 400 Rajiv Gandhi came down to 200. After that Sonia ji took it to 206 back. You have then come back to so much seats, but there must be some reason behind it. No? People are asking, as you rightly said, India needs an opposition.
A strong
you are the
opposition.
people, very strong opposition, and you are the people, the Congress party responsible because you have lost to BJP as the most, and you have to make the opposition.
First claim में मैंने क्या बोला? Bipolar contest में instead of looking everywhere, we have to first internally assess कि हम लोग कैसे 1-to-1 में BJP को हरा सकते हैं, right? That's my first, my opening remark was that in fact. So where is the fact that I'm not accepting? हम अगर 50 में, तो मुझे पता है 50 पे आए हैं. I'm accepting the reality. I'm saying, but that's gone in the past. I have to look forward to June 4th. How do I get the ranks close together, have a good fight, and make sure we win? And win for what reasons? Not to be in power again. हम rarely 50-60 साल पावर. पावर की बात नहीं है. कोई और पावर, वाजपेयी जी पावर में रहे, देवेगौड़ा जी रहे. बट कंट्री में, विपक्ष में, पार्लियामेंट में, संस्थानों में जो हो रहा है वो हम सबको दिख रहा है. दैट इज माई सिंगल पॉइंट इज इलेक्शन. आपने कहा मोदी जी के नाम पे लड़ रहे हैं, वो लड़ेंगे बिकॉज इट सर्व्स देम टू डू दैट. It does not mean that will make the election issueless. And by the way, this is not a wave election. My reading of I've traveled now in Tamil Nadu, Kerala, and to Maharashtra, Punjab. There's no wave election, and that is the reason why the desperate attempt to cobble together an NDA 2. There was no NDA for 5 years. अभी दोबारा उन्होंने NDA पैदा किया. So please don't be fooled by the bravado that is being exhibited because of this sloganeering. Because all this heavy-handedness and the brute force of the power of the government of India is having an effect of realization amongst the voters. कि अब अति हो रही है, excess is happening, so people will check that, I think.
Yeah, Sachin, I've just come back from Bangalore where we had DK Shivkumar as a guest, like you are here. And he was also saying the same thing, that there is no wave this time. But tell me something, you are a young leader, a young person, but why is it that the youth is a very big element of the electorate? Okay, why is it that the Congress cannot get the narrative right to attract the young voters? Your results in the last few elections does indicate that why is it that you are saying that Modi does not it is lot of it is kind of propaganda and this thing, then why is it that the Congress also not getting that narrative right? A leader like you is there. The other part of it is a non-political question. How much of internet and technology is impacting your campaign? Does it make it a level playing field, or do you think that it is kind of increase the level of propaganda? How is it coming to impact elections?
So I'll answer the second question
Yeah.
first. The good thing about technology is that it's open source. So it's not that if he's using some application or some social media platform, I can't use it. The only difference is about the resource allocation. Right? So technology, I can get AI, I can do data mining, I can do whatever I want, so can he, my competition. But how much resource I can deploy, that's a factor of influence. But it's changed a lot. So it can leapfrog you. You can push your campaign, your presence, your narrative can be much more proliferating with those platforms, mediums, which is true. It's also good and bad because you may not be able to compete because it's all commercial. All algorithms that Facebook and Twitter make are influenced by certain considerations. And that's pretty much on payment basis. But yes, it does still open up the access that was perhaps earlier not there. So it's both good and bad because of lack of funds for one. Second, I completely take your point that the first time vote, even though Rajiv Gandhi was the one who gave young people a chance to vote. And if you look at 2009 elections, Manmohan Singh was Prime Minister, and we had Narega and all these schemes that really helped us gain rural votes. But we also won in cities, in Pune, Bangalore, Kolkata, Delhi, Chennai. So the Congress's ideology has been quite firm for the last 139 years, but it's also been adequately flexible to change with the needs of the times. Right? So what Congress was in the 70s, it's not in 1991. 91 may be embarked upon a journey that has been irreversible and benefits hundreds of millions of people. At the same time, within Congress, we had a sort of leftist, socialist mindset people in the working committees, and Dr. Manmohan Singh and other people who were forward-looking, who wanted to open up, liberalize. So it is a good balance, and that's what's required today. This debate, discussion on policy issues, and have an in-house discussion. And Parliament is one such platform. Unfortunately, it's not so much anymore. But within the party also, there's always in the Congress party has been a left of centre bloc and a more right of centre bloc, economic policy wise. And we have to be able to be everything for everybody. That's what a national party does. But our mainstay has been the same. So frankly, if you ask me to summarize in one sentence, for me the Congress party is a economically a progressively open, embracing the change sort of a policy making entity. Still in terms of thinking and its heart, it's a bit of left of center because you still want to have the state wealth of the state reach out to the poorest people. Narega, for example. Today we've announced that minimum wage for Narega will be 400 rupees. Right? So we want to get people in the hands of people who don't have money. Right? So economic policy making hona chahiye, but young, open, liberal thinking on campuses, free thoughts, free flowing. You can disagree with me, but that's what I think Congress party stands for. And across northeast to south of India to Kargil, from Gujarat, everywhere, open, secular, inclusive, participative, embracing. That's the sort of Congress party that we stand for, and that's what India needs. But yes, we need to do more of an effort to get young people to embrace the Congress party. It's not that we haven't done, but we can do more. I take your point.
Rakesh.
Why Congress party is not able to leverage technology? Always it gets excited in BJP. So why?
ऐसा नहीं है. I think
BJP IT team is more famous.
I think they're more controversial. They're more bullish, and they use certain, let's say, untruths also, gets more viewership, etc. But again, they have a lot more resources to deploy. But it's not true. I think the Congress party in states and in Delhi, we have a strong social media, IT, even advanced technologies. Congress party has been using. So I don't think it's that at all. It's a scale, yes. They're in power. They have a lot more funds and money, and it's seen more. But it's not that the Congress party is not using those tools and devices. Not at all.
So, you, Sindhya, Jitin Prasad, and RPN Singh, you were the young leaders of Congress at a time. So, since they switched sides,
question will
has
keep
there
coming
been
back
any
to you.
difference in the way you communicate, any political ideology difference? And my other question is that do you think the grand old party sticks with the old guards and does not facilitate the young leaders who may have contributed in winning the elections? I'm asking this because there has been an open rift between young and old Congress
Especially in
leaders,
Rajasthan.
especially when during state elections.
Okay, to be very clear about this, I don't think my issues with the then Chief Minister was age related at all. And honestly, because someone who knows me will understand that I have nothing but the utmost respect for anyone who's older than I am, and that's how I've been brought up. So it's not an age issue at all. It's about perspective. And I always felt that Rajasthan mein we work hard, we form a government, and then we lose very badly after 5 years. Yeah. So I just thought we must learn from our mistakes. And smart people always learn from other people's mistakes. But अपना खुद का mistake से हमें समझना चाहिए कि why हम सरकार बनाते हैं, जीत भी पाते हैं. And just to add to your point, it's not that the Congress governments haven't been repeated. Look at, we're sitting in Delhi. Sheila ji became CM for the first time. And that time, she was not the CM face, by the way. She was made Chief Minister. But then, 3 times, we got massive mandates because people voted for her in the party, right? That's what I think when you, पहली बार तो आपको कोई बना देगा Chief Minister. But second time or third time when you win, then people are voting for you and your work. It happened in Assam. Tarun Gogoi became CM. 3 consecutive terms he had. Huda Sahab, 2 terms he had in Haryana. YSR Reddy Sahab in Andhra Pradesh. So it's not that the Congress party's CMs are not getting repeated or Congress governments are not getting repeated. Rajasthan में I felt हम सरकार बनाते हैं, then we lose so badly, like he was saying, 200 में से एक बार 50, फिर रह गए 20. So I thought that let's not go down that path again. So we must do certain things to change the narrative, and if we do the same thing, परिणाम वही आएगा ना. कुछ अलग करेंगे तो अलग परिणाम आएगा. So my suggestions which I gave to the party, some of them were taken up, and someone has asked me a question. कि Congress party couldn't form the government because of differences between the Chief Minister and I said, भाई आप चलो let's take a point. Differences थे भी supposing. तो 70 तो आए ना. लेकिन 2013 में तो मैं था ही नहीं. तब तो 20 ही आए थे सिर्फ. So to say differences हो गए. So I think that is now things that have gone back in the past. But I wanted I wanted less bureaucratic control of the government. I wanted workers to get more sort of political power. I wanted the issues of young people to be taken up. These paper leaks वगैरह हो गए थे उस time. I wanted stronger action on corruption. And I took that stand when I was in opposition. I can't change my stand because we're in government, right? Because I have to go back to people again. So that's why I took that stand, and the Congress party did take my advice, and we took certain actions. For example, Rajasthan now, after I intervened, today is the only state in India where people who are caught in paper leaks, there is a provision for life sentence as a deterrent. So that, it does put some pressure on people who want to engage in that business. So all these things we did, but by the way, our vote share difference is about 1.5%, BJP Congress. So it's not that we lost badly. We got 70 MLAs. Just to add, when Sarkar ban gayi, one of the candidates died. So there was a by-election immediately after the results came out. And during the election, by-election chal raha hai, code of conduct laga hua hai, the BJP made its candidate a minister. In a code of conduct, you can't even transfer a police constable. They inducted the BJP candidate as a minister. And our candidate was a young guy, he was 40 years old. Well, in political terms, he's young. In that election, that minister lost, and the Congress party won in Ganganagar. So I'm saying if you trust young people, give them responsibility and leadership roles, people will reward that. It's been the case in Rajasthan in many cases.
So interestingly, UP becomes very important for every government which has to be formed at the national level. And it has been a bulwark for you for quite a long time. And seeing what you're saying, youth embracing the party, do you have any plans or what is your analysis about Uttar Pradesh? Because you may or may not fare the way you are speaking about.
No,
He's from UP.
I take your point. UP, of course, is the largest state in India, politically the most dominant state also. But just to take you back a little bit in history, 2004, Congress party got 21 MPs from there. People forget that. 21 out of 80, right? उस टाइम तो कहाँ कोई नेता नहीं था जिताने वाला, फिर भी जीते ना किस प्रभु जी. So we won 21 MPs, right? And I think 7 were made ministers. We perhaps didn't capitalize on that achievement and made stronger inroads in UP. Today we have an alliance with Akhilesh Yadav and Congress party. Obviously BJP is in government there for the second time, and a chunk of their MPs come from UP. UP is an important state. I think we are doing a good counterbalance. I won't hazard a guess as to how many seats we'll get, but it'll be a good fight between SP Congress and the BJP. But you're right. Ultimately, that is a state which used to give Congress also a lot of numbers when we formed governments. And I take a point that UP, Bihar, West Bengal, and Maharashtra are the 4 most important politically relevant states. So that certainly will be something that we have to work on after the elections also.
You spoke about the influence of left in the party, left parties in Congress. So yesterday, Sanjay Nirupam was talking about, how the Dam Mandir issue.
एक मिनट, जो पार्टी छोड़ के जाएगा ना, उसकी प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस के बारे में ऐसा पूछोगे next day. It's not fair because obviously when he's leaving, he has to say something. When Sanjay Nirupam is leaving the party, he can't be singing praises of the Congress party. He'll find something to say before he leaves.
No, this is about the ideological position of Congress. You said the secular ideas. You always proclaim the secular ideas, but then, you couldn't actually kind of mount an ideological opposition to Hindutva or what BJP proposes. Even yesterday in Wayanad, Rahul Gandhi, the Congress could not use your flag because of
They didn't want Muslim League flags.
So how do you?
No, that's conjecture. Look, I'll get your point. I'll make 2 responses. I have 2 responses to that. One is that when he said leftist, it's what I said was in the Congress party, when we have schemes like right to education, right to food, Narega, it's a reflection of the Congress's core concerns for the have-nots. We still have a 9-10% GDP growth target. We still have liberalization. We have economic policy making, World Bank, WTO. But must not forget that people who get left behind, if we do that, it will not be a good growth trajectory for the country. And it makes economic sense also, right? To get people on board. So when I say left, I mean there is a sense it's not all pro-business, pro-capitalism. There's also check and balance. So you create wealth, but let the wealth percolate down to the bottom of the pyramid. Ideologically, someone is trying to use, let's say, an event or a religion or a god or avatar for his or her advantage. That's up to them. I think the state has a different role to play. A state is run by constitution. It's agnostic to religion and personal likes and dislikes. It must discharge its responsibility under the oath that it is sworn in. It can't be a left or right or a Hindu or Muslim. It's a state, it's a constitutional, that overarches everything. What faith will you belong to? Who you pray, what you wear, what you eat. मैं भजन करूं, व्रत रखूं, क्या कपड़े पहनूं. That's my personal choice. It's a matter of the home and the heart. And that's where it should remain. But if you display that, if you use it and try and gain political advantage out of that, I'm against it, the Congress party is against it. In the mainstream media, you keep challenging everyone that you're not a Ram Bhakt or you're anti-national. You ask a question to the government of the day, कि भाई ये गलत क्यों हो रहा है? The only response we get is go to Pakistan. You're anti-national or you're anti-Hinduism. I don't need anyone's certificate to know what religion I belong to. And जहाँ तक this Ram Temple event happened, so it was the Supreme Court of India that decided that Ram Temple will be constructed. Me, the party, almost everybody in the country accepted that decision. Supreme Court's decision. Even the people opposed to that case accepted it. Why? Because Supreme Court has a credibility. Supreme Court judge is also a person. But because we all have regard for the Supreme Court, we accept the mandate of the Supreme Court. That's why I go back to my first point. Institutional credibility. If you start questioning the judge itself, then people say, "Nahi, Supreme Court ne galat bola hai." But thankfully, we don't have that. So let's maintain what we have. So in terms of religion being used as a electioneering platform, I'm against that.
But Muslim League is your long-time ally and
But
it's a secular party.
UDF Alliance is not today's. It's 30 years old. 30, nothing has changed since then. But people see new connotations in that party or that statement. And today, and also anybody in our party or even outside the party in our alliance, when someone says something derogatory about any religion, I oppose that. There are some leaders who are tuned to saying these things because it gives them short-term benefits. I completely oppose that. And it could be someone in my party also.
Flag, which is
Yeah,
there.
even the Congress could not, they
Yeah,
did not
yeah,
understand, but they went with the.
But hang on, that seat we won by large margin, we'll win again. And who's wearing what kurta, what flag is irrelevant. What's more important is your question. Is today's politics revolving more about religious beliefs and display of your beliefs as opposed to the core issues of jobs and infrastructure, healthcare and education? That's the question. And I believe that people of India want to focus on a better future. Are they better off today than they were 10 years ago? Are our women and sisters and brothers more safe and secure? Is what's happening in Manipur not affecting everybody? It's happening there, it'll happen kahin aur also tomorrow, right? Why has no one gone there? Every 140 crore citizens are equal. They have equal right to a safe life, equal right to practice their religion, equal right to live with dignity. If you start doing tera mera in that, then you're not doing a job as a constitutional elected government, right? And our republic is strong only when people believe in our systems. Once you start questioning that and you start choosing depending, when they say, ki, show me the face, I'll show you the rule. That's wrong. So religion has a space, but it should not be used to garner political advantage. I'm against that completely. And for everybody, whether it's Islam or Christianity or Hinduism, whoever it is. And anyone who uses that is a weak political worker. You should be able to show a report card. मैंने नल खुदवाया है, मैंने सड़क बनाई है, मैंने स्कूल बनवाया है, मैंने जो भी किया, विकास किया जो. If you don't have that, then you start doing other things. So, let's see what happens.
And despite visible best efforts by the Congress, nominating best candidates and working hard on the ground, running a successful campaign, the party fails to get numbers in result. What is your assessment?
अभी हम 1 घंटे वही तो डिस्कस कर रहे थे. So I don't have that different question.
Monica.
As I was listening to you, it just came to my mind. You are talking basically about participatory democracy, right? And what we have seen in the last 10 years is very strong executive decision making. In fact, the last years of the UPA government used to we have all written about it, and it was in coinage. Policy paralysis had happened, and there was this question about the question on the executive decision making. So, don't you think there should be a balance in that?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But don't forget, our government was a coalition government. There were pressures, there were various voices. And you're right, in the end, the narrative in the media did become as if their decision making is not smooth or strong as it should be. But now we have the complete opposite. I don't think there is much discussion in the cabinets or much sort of, open-hearted exchanges on ideas and policy making. So I think there has to be a balance. You have to have a very strong government, a firm government with clarity of thought and clear policy making. Absolutely. But should it not be discussed thoroughly? Should it not be? And supposing you make a wrong decision or a wrong policy, you must have the heart to say, yes, I'm going to course correct. I'm going to go back. And like what happened? You made the 3 farm laws. 1.5 saal tak kisan baithe the. And how many people died? Such waste of life. And then you come back and withdraw it. We don't know what propagated you to make those 3 laws and what prompted you to withdraw them. So that sort of opaque and sort of process-less decision making also is not good for such a large country. If you're some island nation, chota country, you can do what you want. But such large country with so many stakeholders, so many sensitivities, so many fault lines, so many geographical, far off places, people who are really cut off from the mainstream, un logon se bulakar, baat kar. So it's politics in my 25 years, I realized, is all about talking, communicating, sharing, discussing. Everything, all solutions and all problems get resolved and get done with talking and actually opening up. But I don't see much of that in this government. It's a one-way street. It's very loud. It's very clear. Right or wrong, it just goes through. So sometimes that is not, it's not done with the finesse and the kind of openness and transparency and participation as it should have been done.
So
So, what is your perspective on the current government's efforts in expediting infrastructure development in the country and also bringing in reforms for promoting businesses like PLI, Gift City? Because when I talk to all these CEOs and businessmen, they all praise this government and they say that the previous government was very, very slow and there was a lot of corruption also. So, a lot of these issues have been sorted in the current regime. So how do you think that your government's approach would differ if given the opportunity?
I think infrastructure development in this country is on a non-stop road. No matter what government comes into power, it will happen. It's a requirement for the country. So roads will be made, bridges will be made. I think it's unfair to say that this government is doing more than the previous government. Previous government, for the resources we had 10 years ago, we had less. But today, look at the debt we raised. I think the policy making financially of this government is not so sound. If you look at the actual data in terms of per capita debt, the kind of fiscal deficit financing that we are doing, there's a lot more promotion of it, a lot more ads, a lot more visibility. But when Manmohan Singh was prime minister for 10 years, the roads did get built, bridges were made, railway lines were laid down, airports were made. So infrastructure has been an important core issue for all governments. It's wrong to say that previous governments were less focused on it. Your other question about Gift City and other thing, you see, it's not about events. It's about the singular way the country is moving together. Abhi aap ek event karo, then this G20 ho gaya, that's like a big met. I mean, it adds, it's good eyeball catching technique, tricks. But long-term sustainability happens when people of this country and their human resource, their value, their skills are being properly utilized. Today, unemployment is highest level ever. And more than that, underemployment. Ek to unemployment, then underemployment. Government jobs, bhartiyan ruki hui hain. Army mein, they've had Agniveer. It's not talked about anymore, but it's a huge issue in rural parts of India. So I think job creation, getting people involved, depriving people of basic things, giving 80 crore people subsidized food. BJP करे तो रेवड़ी नहीं है, और कोई करे तो आप रेवड़ी दे रहे हो उनको. So $5 trillion economy, and you want to give 80 crore people free food, that doesn't add up, right? So I think there's a narrative, there's a facade being created, but real development happens when people's disposable incomes increase, when there's households have enough money to feed and educate their kids, when they can live a clean, dignified, respectful life, and that has to happen in the hinterland of India, not just the mega cities or in the newspaper ads. It has to happen everywhere.
So, given the controversy around the electoral bond, do you think people have the right to know which corporate is giving donation to which party? And do you think this kind of transparency is needed in political?
Okay, one is transparency, but you can't hide behind transparency and then know what's happening now today. Thank the Supreme Court for doing what it did. Otherwise, we would never come to know. So this sort of monopolizing the electoral funding game is also not healthy for the country, because it's winner takes all. If you're in government, you arm twist everybody, you give a notice, then you get the electoral bonds and you make money out of it. Thousands of crores have been taken by a political party. Income tax does not question them, even though they're declared illegal by the Supreme Court. Congress party's account, thanks to the Supreme Court. You तुम्हारे खाते बंद कर दिए थे भाई, 11 खाते, Youth Congress के, NSUI के. So you're basically stopping and impeding the campaign of the main principal opposition party middle of elections. Now how is that a level playing field? You're depriving the Congress to even conduct an election. First, you don't allow people to donate money through their tricks and pressures. Then whatever little money we have, that also you freeze. We had to go to Supreme Court and then get relief for 3 months so that we can at least fight the elections. So I think this transparency is very important, required. And I think in due time, more things will be exposed as to who was, given what concessions and, sort of financial contracts and what bonds they were receiving. I think it's very important to have transparency, absolutely.
Yeah, I have a very specific question, Sachin. Earlier, you were opposed to Aam Aadmi Party and corruption issues. Right now, you are in support to Aam Aadmi Party and corruption issues. What gap between these two?
Okay, so when a party fights against me, I have to oppose them. Political opponents hote hain, right? That way, we opposed many of the allies that we're fighting together today. Right? That's my political reason for fighting the election against Aam Aadmi Party or TMC or in Shiv Sena, for example. But today, this is a national election. And what's happened to our country in the last 3 or 4 years is visible to everybody. So we decide either we can fight and finish the game here, or we can come together and look at the larger objective. And Aam Aadmi Party, we have an alliance in Delhi. It doesn't mean that Congress and our allies, every thought is fully 100% matched and we agree with everything. अगर ऐसा होता सब एक ही पार्टी नहीं बन जाते हम सब लोग. So, because there are certain views that we differ, but the larger objective is to form an opposition bloc. That's why we have alliances in different states. And you may oppose somebody, you may disagree with somebody, you may even dislike someone, but you can't keep putting them in jail, यार. झारखंड के मुख्यमंत्री को आपने वहाँ डिटेन कर रखा है, दिल्ली वाले को आपने डिटेन कर रखा है. So that I think is excessive, especially when the code of conduct is in place. Should not the election commission intervene? And should the agencies, even though they say law will take its own course, it's independent, but ultimately it's not appropriate to have elected chief ministers bundled into prison cells.
Sir, you keep raising the issue of climate of indecisiveness in the Congress party.
Who raises it?
You.
I raised it.
Yeah.
And that's not true.
And what is the state of
I didn't raise it.
State of that climate of indecisiveness in the party right now?
No, there's no indecision. I mean, the question was the government. They say someone was saying is more decisive, etc. I said that's not true. Now the Congress may look. It's an old party. It's a large party, and to our merit, we also discuss a lot more. It's not one or two people. It's a whole committee. There's a member of the working committee. We discuss, we talk, we disagree also. But finally we decide. And we decide, then we go on that path. Other parties is all one word, one line, one sentence, and everybody else follows through. So that's their party.
But
yeah, you were saying that you cannot put chief ministers in jail, you cannot put everybody in jail. But it was your government that put J.N. Sai Baba, triple man in jail. What is your response to that?
J.N. Sai Baba.
That specific case I'm not fully aware of, but if someone feels that he or she was put, I'm just making a point of different category of people, right? You can have people who you feel didn't deserve to be treated that way, that's okay. I'm saying, forget Aam Aadmi Party. Any chief minister, could be any state. In principle, I find it wrong to put people in prison, at a time elections are going on. I won't go into history, I'm not fully aware, but if someone is right or wrong, there are other ways to figure that out. But election चल रहा हो, बीच election में आप किसी पार्टी के मुख्यमंत्री को डिटेन करें, I find that wrong.
मेरा एक स्पेसिफिक क्वेश्चन और है कि रायबरेली में भी आपकी पार्टी को कैंडिडेट क्यों नहीं?
बहुत जल्दी घोषणा कर देंगे भाई. रायबरेली में दोनों में कर देंगे. I won't do it, but AICC will do that.
I would like to be the next chief minister of Rajasthan.
अभी तो चुनाव खत्म हुए हैं.
नहीं, next.
5 साल बाद क्या होगा? How can I say what will happen after 5 years? Difficult to say. But yes, my focus obviously is my home state, and I'm going to work there because I think I can contribute most there. But whatever job I get assigned, I do that also as much as I can.
So you are emerging as the face of the.
अभी मैंने कहा 5 साल पड़े हैं, किसका फेस कहाँ जाएगा पता नहीं. We'll see what happens.
Coming back to Rajasthan.
हाँ जी.
Rajasthan politics had always been a binary between BJP and Congress, right? So this time, you have decided to merge your vote banks with smaller parties like CPM and RLP and all that. So, what difference do you think that? How would it help?
There are 25 seats in Rajasthan, and we've given 2 seats to our allies. CPM is a national ally in the India Alliance, and RLP is a regional party. And RLP actually had an alliance with BJP last time. And then he fell out because of the farmers' agitation. And he said, I'm with the farmers. And he supported the Congress' stand against the BJP. We've given that 1 seat to him. So it's a seat adjustment and seat sharing. 2 seats out of 25. And both are strong candidates. Amar Ramji from Sikar and Hanuman Beniwal from Nagaur.
How many seats would you gain?
How many will I gain? I want to gain all 25. Hoga kya? I don't know. I'm just saying that we have a very good contest in more than half the seats. I'm hoping to get at least that much.
Sachin ji?
Specific question.
Yeah. Related to national leader. What stand still today of your party on POK?
On POK?
Yeah.
वापस लेंगे.
1994 में नरसिम्हा राव प्रधानमंत्री थे. संसद ने सर्वसम्मति से एक रेजोल्यूशन पास किया था that we will take back POK. It was a pan party, all party. नरसिम्हा राव की सरकार में हुआ था 94 में. And that's the stand of the government then, the stand of our party today. Can I ask you a specific question?
Yeah.
कि 10 साल में बीजेपी सरकार रही, इन्होंने पास किया रेजोल्यूशन दोबारा?
अब करेगी।
अब करेगी। कब
ये लेके रहेंगे
Narasimha Rao ji had a minority government, and he passed a unanimous resolution in Parliament that tells you about the thinking of the Congress Party on issues of nationalism, our borders, and our security, and what we think rightly is good for our country in terms of borders. What's happening in Askachin and borders near China, we all know that. So मैं कह रहा हूँ कहना कुछ है करना कुछ है. So we've done that, no? When Congress government हमने किया था 30 years ago.
So this election south, there is a mission south and there's a lot of focus on the southern states, and very recently controversy or a debate has started on the Kachativu Islands. I was speaking to Mani just before you came in on the issue as such, or is it that the Congress has not been able to do a counter to it, why it was given away, or the communicated
55-60 years ago, a bilateral agreement about some portion of some territory has happened in Mr. Modi's government also. With Bangladesh, there were avenues given and taken, so that was a bilateral thing. To use as portion of that, some agreements at some point to fulfill your mission south will not bear any fruit. People in south exactly know what the BJP is all about. So to election के time में एक portion किसी एक agreement का आप उसको डाल रहे हैं, you trying to say that things are right or wrong is wrong, because that's when a country does things like that. And I'm giving an example for Bangladesh. This government exchanged land with some agreement, right? So that full totality of that sometimes is not in public view. But to make that an election issue, I think it's not about you. 10 साल की report card बताइए आप. नौकरी कितनी थी, काला धन कितना लेकर आए, महंगाई कितनी कम करी, दाल आटे का क्या भाव है. Fight on those issues because that's you have full 10 years to perform. I'm not to say कि ये trailer था अभी आगे और देखिएगा. That doesn't cut ice.
Sachin, I'll just because what I'm asked is that unemployment and corruption have been number one issue from the day I joined journalism. Opinion poll 1980 में इंडिया ने लिया था, उसमें number 2 और number 1 ये issue थे. आज भी वही है. The issues have not changed. But people don't vote for the issue because the corruption and inflation and whatever you're talking about, if people have to vote for that, then every government will be out at 55 years. That's definitely. But I'm saying, BJP party, don't you think they have to credit that they think of the issue? Like Mahatma Gandhi used to go to a particular state and speak about the state issue at that time. Kacha Tivu, somebody from Tamil Nadu president asks a question and gets the answer the next day. When they go, their strategy is that they raise the issue at appropriate time, which is the most issue, like this Kerala files. Doordarshan started it. So they dictate the narrative. Where Congress party is failing to break the dictatorship, they have a Kacha TV so that some kind of a connection is there, some kind of connection there. They have a issue in Kerala, Doordarshan should not see the film. They should not show the film. There are no issues like unemployment you're talking about.
आप बता प्रभु जी, आप इतने पुराने पत्रकार हो, इतना बड़ा मुल्क है, ना एक फिल्म रिलीज हो नहीं हो वो इशू होना चाहिए या बेरोजगारी की हमें बात करनी चाहिए? एज विपक्ष, एज ऑपोजिशन, of course BJP will try and divert the issue. एक film, एक agreement. But I'm saying that the narrative building in the media is not what this country deserves.
But Chief Minister of the state is writing letters. That is fallen in the trap.
But you have to respond. But I'm saying if you are the protagonist,
that is what
if you are
they want.
if I disagree with the strategy, it may be fruitful in the short term. But this country is far more important than one media story or one controversy or one film or one book or one issue. I think we need a much higher level of debate. And you're saying issue है, and I'm glad issue है. आप issue नहीं होता तो लोग क्या करते? Unemployment नहीं है, किसानों के issue, things that matter to people's lives every day, there should be the issues, not these manufactured controversies that give you political dividend in the short term. That's my view. And you can have a different view.
What I'm talking about is Congress party perhaps lacks the communication skill. Communication skill.
ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. अभी सुनो, अभी 4 जून को अगर हमारी सरकार बन गई ना, ये ठीक था. सचिन जो कह रहा था ना, ये नैरेटिव ठीक था.
2 महीने पता नहीं क्या क्या होगा.
अरे छोड़ो ना, जो भाई जो जीता सो से करना है. तो अगर हम जीत जाएंगे, बोले आप भी शायद अंडर प्ले करो, इश्यूज की बात करो, महंगाई की बात करो, वो आप स्ट्रेटजी ठीक थी. नो, आई एम स्टिकिंग टू व्हाट वी स्टैंड फॉर. आई डोंट फॉल. आई थिंक नो वन शुड फॉल टू द प्रे नहीं करना चाहिए. ये क्या करते हैं, ऐसा सवाल उठा देते हैं, फिर आप जवाब दो उसको, देन यूज दैट टू देयर एडवांटेज. सो इट्स
That's power again, and you have to accept it.
No, I think it's frivolous.
Is it frivolous?
So you said Raebareli will be announced soon seat. Amethi, what about Amethi?
Both, will announce both ways.
Yesterday Robert Vadra said.
I will not answer any of that question because I have no brief from that.
And yesterday Robert Vadra said if people of Amethi.
I said I will not answer because I'm not the spokesperson of the party. You can ask the spokesperson to respond.
Sir, what factors do you believe contributed to the significant improvement in India's global image in the international fora? Because it wasn't there before. In hindsight, what do you think? What Congress may have faltered in this regard?
तो मैम अभी जर्मनी क्या बोल रहा है, यूएन क्या बोल रहा है, अमेरिका क्या बोल रहा है, वो आप सब जानते ही हैं. And in our freedom of press, where our ranking is in the Swedish think tank, what they think of us. So there are two sides to the story. A large country like India, anyone who reaches this country will get the stardom and spotlight. But are we using it to our advantage? Are we using our size and scale and our importance in the geopolitical map to the benefit of our people? That's far more important. And I think Dr. Manmohan Singh, with his pose and dignity, I mean, he really did a lot for the country. And I think our foreign policy, by the way, is not about BJP Congress. Largely, the direction for our foreign policy should be unanimous view. When it comes to Russia, comes to US, comes to trade policies, we can have internal differences in the parliament. But for the outside world, we are one strong united country. And I believe that a projection should be like that. That I may differ with you, but when it comes to national interest, foreign policy, cricket and sports, we have to remain one and we have to be one voice. Why should the others, be allowed to see what we think differently? I don't believe in that. So, जो इंडिया की इमेज बढ़ रही है, अच्छी बात है और बढ़नी चाहिए. But क्यों बढ़ रही है? India is a functional democracy where people have grown. 20 years ago, the size of a middle class was the talk of the town. Our IT industry was the talk of the town. I went as ministers, to so many countries. We were so well received because of the hard and work toil of our people. भाई देश बढ़ रहा है, तभी तो मंत्रियों की पूछ हो रही है, प्रधानमंत्री की पूछ हो रही है. So that's what I'm saying. So we have to work so that we remain strong, functional, and we really are a force to reckon with. And how can you be a force to reckon with? You have to be strong and united. You can't start abusing the opposition when you go overseas. You can't start discrediting your opposition leaders when you get a chance. So you also have to show magnanimity and grace that goes along with the post. So I think our national, international images should go on increasing. And I wish that no matter which government comes into power on June 4th, our international position should remain same and be stronger than ever.
Do you think India would be able to become a Viksit Bharat by 2047?
If Congress comes to
If Congress wins, we can before that also. 2037.